Why don't you want to be making passive income for the rest of your life? Why don't you want to be building a financial future for your family? Why? Why? It doesn't make sense not to invest. In this video, we're going to be talking about why you should be investing in real estate and how to get your first rental property. Why real estate in this economy? Because real estate is the only thing that is recession proof. People are always traveling. People always need a place to stay. So accommodations will always be a priority. Why not be the one providing that? Real estate provides steady income. It provides long-term appreciation. It also provides tax benefits that you cannot get anywhere else. Being a rental property owner will allow you to bring income in because you can charge tenants higher than your mortgage or the rents that you're paying on that property. That way you can have cash flow, and over time that property will be gaining equity that you can take out to refinance and do something else. If you're not familiar with any of these terms I'm talking about, such as cash flow, equity, make sure that you hit the link below. We gave a deep dive about all the key terms that you need to know to get started in real estate. You don't want to miss it. It's the only way that you will be successful at the closing table. So in order for you to get started, you need to work on setting your financial foundation. You need to be saving a lot. You need to be cutting down unnecessary expenses so that you can start saving for your down payment, for your closing fees. There's so many things that come to closing on a property that you don't even know about yet. Right? So you need to start building your savings for the basic thing. Now, if you don't know what your down payment is, your down payment is the money that you put towards buying the property. Let's say a property is $500,000. You can put a down payment starting from 3% to up to 20%, or however much that you choose or have to put down. If you're doing a conventional loan or an FHA loan, the minimum is 3%. You can go upwards to 20%. If you do anything less than 20%, the bank will add on what we call PMI. PMI is basically a safety net for the bank in case you default on that loan. It's insurance to protect that loan for the bank. So you would have on PMI tacked on to your payments based on your purchase price and your property. You will be making PMI payments until your property reaches 20% at least in equity. So your property needs to appreciate in value about 20% in equity so that you can call the bank and take off that PMI insurance. Next, you need to start building your credit. Building your credit is so crucial for you to be successful in buying your first rental property. Your credit will be what determines how much you get pre-approved for. It is what determines your interest rate. It has so many factors that come into play. In order for you to start building your credit, you need to know what your credit score is and the state of your credit report. And the best way to look up your credit report for free is going to annualcreditreport.com and downloading your free credit report. Annualcreditreport.com is the only agency that is authorized by the federal government to be able to give out your credit report. You don't need to pay nothing extra. Pull up your credit report. See if you have any delinquencies, any defaults, anything at all. Start working to repair your credit right away. You want to look picture perfect in the eyes of your lender, and you can do this by working with credit repair companies or just doing it yourself. If you don't have a credit score or credit report, anything to do with credit, start building your credit. Start getting those secured credit cards, those credit cards that will help you build your credit. And if you have a high utilization, start paying off those credit cards. Pay it low to at least 30%. If you have student loans that are in default, start getting those out of default. You need to be one step closer to financial freedom, and these are the baby steps that you need to take. I'm going to show you how to get your free credit report. So we are going to go to creditreport.com. It already comes up and it says free weekly online credit reports, and you can just go ahead and request your free credit report. Follow those steps, 1, 2, 3, boom, you have your credit report, and you can start going through it and work on building your credit. That simple. You don't have to pay nothing. It's absolutely free. So you have no excuse. Now that you've worked on your credit, you can now start going to those lenders. Your pre-approval letter is what will let you know what you're pre-qualified for. That's when you start speaking to the lenders. And what they'll do is they'll ask you for a few documents. They'll ask you for your bank statement. They'll ask you for your pay stubs. They'll ask you for your tax returns. They'll ask you for employment verification. And they will do a hard credit check. So make sure that you're prepared for all of this. And good thing that you watched this video, because you've already worked on building your credit and saving up for your down payment. You see why it's good. If you have not already subscribed, make sure that you do that and let me know what you want to hear on the next video. And if you have any questions, make sure you comment below. We would love to get your thoughts and help you buy your rental property. Now you need to start doing your market research. You need to look for areas that have high rents demand, low vacancy rates, and growing population. You want that equity and that cash flow. That is your goal. You need to start doing research for the type of properties that you're going to be looking for. So are you interested in single family? Are you looking for a duplex? And as a beginner, I would recommend starting off with either a single family or a duplex. You want simplicity. You want to learn, and then you can scale up. No problem with getting more money, but you want to make sure that you conquer one property at a time. The way that you can start doing your market research is you can use sites like Zillow, you can use sites like Redfin to start searching your property, start searching your area, figuring out the property types that you're drawn to. Obviously, make sure when you're searching on these sites, you're sticking to what you're pre-approved for or less. You don't want to go over your pre-approval. You want to make sure you're sticking within your price range so that you're not getting anything unattainable that you cannot afford. Next, you need to find the right property. And the right property will have affordability, it will have cash flow, and it will have equity potential. Typically, when you're looking for the right property, you want to do your analysis on the 1% rule. The 1% rule is basically a guide that's helping you know what you should be charging for monthly rent. Monthly rent should be 1% of the purchase price. Once you found the right property, you need to now schedule your walkthrough. Start making sure that you're doing your due diligence, doing your inspections, making sure that this property is in fact the right fit. You don't want to go for anything that you have to do a fixer-upper on, especially when you're starting out. It could be a headache, and it's even more money draining out of your pockets when you can get something that's really good, not too new, that you can just, maybe do a light paint work on, refresh to get quickly on the market. The longer it takes you to get that property rented out, the more you're spending money out your pocket. So let's limit that. At this stage, you can decide if you want to use a realtor. If you're a first-time home buyer, I would suggest using a realtor just so that you can get a familiarity and a safety net there. But after that, if this is something you want to do, I suggest learning it in depth. But for your first property, get that real estate agent. Typically be paying a 3% fee. It's worth it in the end, just to know that you're safe. You can have your negotiations the right way, right? So you can decide at this stage to use an agent because you know the properties that you want. You have your pre-approval letter. You know your credit score. So you're basically the perfect person to be working with an agent right now. Now it's time to make an offer. Now it's time to move one step closer to the closing table and close on that property. Work with your agent to make a competitive offer. Do your inspections, doing your appraisals. These are all things that you need to take very seriously. Getting ahead and being proactive of anything that may come up. You do not want anything to get over your head. Read all your documents thoroughly. Prepare for the closing table. Closing costs will range anywhere from 3% to 6%. So you want to be prepared and make sure that you have your closing costs and are able to close. So those costs can include anything from your title search, your title insurance, your property taxes, your transfer taxes. So many things are involved. Inspection, your appraisal fees. There's a lot that goes within your closing costs. Within that stage, when they give you the overview of your closing cost fees, deep dive on those fees. This is so crucial. Make sure that you're getting an understanding for every single fee they're charging you. And if they can't explain what those fees are, they need to remove it. I remember on one of my closing documents, I had a $4,000 in miscellaneous fees. I was like, what is this fee? And he could not explain what it was. So he had to remove it, because why are you adding fees that you cannot explain? So this is where knowledge is keen. So do your due diligence, read through those paperworks so that you're going at the closing table with confidence, making sure every single T is crossed and I is dotted. Okay? You've successfully closed. Now you need to make money on your property. And the way that you're going to make money on your property is by getting a tenant. Either if it's long-term rental, short-term rental, whatever you decide, make sure you get a tenant in there right away and list it on the appropriate website for you to get engagement and viewership on. Or you can hand it over to a property management company if you don't want the headache of having to manage your property and getting a tenant in there. Get someone to do it for you so you can start earning money right away. Remember to start small. Use your first rental property to build your skills and investment. You're just learning, so it's okay to make mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. I hope that you found this video helpful. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and you hit the notification bell so you can get more gems coming your way.